Episode 8 starts with Han. At that moment, a woman approaches him. Han doesn't recognize her and asks who she is, but because of how nervous she is, she doesn't answer a single word. She just takes money out of her bag and puts it in Han's hand, and before she leaves, she gives him one warning only. Don't tell your uncle about this matter at all. Han stays standing in his place, holding the money, drowning in confusion, asking himself who this woman is. Then we see Sion and Yoon hugging each other in the park. Suddenly, John, the PE teacher, who was out for a night walk and doing exercises, notices them and shouts, "What's going on here?" Sion and Yoon are shocked and pull away from each other. As soon as John realizes that she is a teacher at the school and that the man is Han's uncle, he is shocked as well. Yoon starts trembling from fear of a scandal and begs John, telling him that if he ignores the matter, she will remain grateful to him until her last breath in her life. Here, Sion intervenes, pulls Bomb behind him, and tells her, "Bombshi, be quiet. I'll handle it." He steps toward John with confidence and arrogance, and for a moment it looks like he's about to threaten him or hit him. But suddenly, instead of threatening, he falls onto the sand, goes down on his knees and hands, bows, places his forehead on the ground, and begs, saying, "I wish happiness and peace for your family. Just close your eyes one time, and in return for anything you ask, the Sion standing in front of you will do it." John's heart softens, or rather he takes advantage of the opportunity and asks him for information about the office manager who works at his lawyer friend's office. Sion agrees and tells him, of course. Bomb stands behind them, stunned and shocked that her harsh lover could bow to such an extent for her. After the problem is resolved, John helps Sion stand up, dusts the sand off his clothes as if they've become partners in a secret mission, and whispers something to him that we'll learn later. After they leave, Sion goes back home and Han is in his room contemplating the money. He calls out to him, but Sion is tired and preoccupied with the park drama and doesn't notice, so he goes straight into his room. The next day, we see Yoon in the office trying to avoid Teacher Sue, but Teacher Sue's eyes remain fixed on her. She steps forward immediately and confronts her, saying she saw her at the park and that she wasn't alone, that there was a man with her as well. At that moment, Yoon becomes tense and her mind gets confused. Suddenly, Coach John appears, gives Sue her bag, and says that yesterday he and Yoon were together, quickly making up the story to save Yoon. Then calmly, he extends a small piece of paper to Yoon. Yoon opens it with fear and discovers that there is no threat in it, but written on it is, "Give me the information quickly." Then we see Sue going to the gym, thinking that from the beginning she shouldn't have signed up for a full 6 months, and now she wants to quit and is wondering if they'll return her money. She opens the gym door and freezes in her place when she sees the scene in front of her, Sion in black clothes and Coach John in white clothes training together. Sion is throwing John and choking him, and in the end, John is the one who wins. Sue is shocked that Sion lost. We go back in a flashback to understand that John had asked Sion to deliberately lose in order to win Sue's heart. We return to Sue, who still can't believe what she saw, while John acts as if he hadn't noticed her entering and shows her that his effort paid off. He goes to Sion, asks him to get up, and announces the end of the training, while Sion continues acting because he's forced to. Then we see Yoon at her house, sitting and facing the gift that Sion left. Yoon sits staring at it and remembering his words when he told her to open it only when she misses him a lot. Her hand reaches for the ribbon, but she pulls back and convinces herself that not enough time has passed yet, and that if she opens it now, it means she surrendered and admitted that she misses him. In this confusion, she pulls her hair and decides to go outside to clear her head. She takes the small dog, Amshik, and walks by the sea, but her mind is still stuck on the gift. Yoon walks down the street lost in her thoughts, imagining what could be inside the box. Perhaps an expensive perfume, a romantic handwritten letter, or even a ring that could change everything. Suddenly, a bicycle passes by out of control and crashes into her, knocking her to the ground. When she looks up, she is shocked to find herself face to face with Han's mother. The situation becomes even more uncomfortable when it turns out they already know each other, as Han's mother had seen Yoon before with Sion. With a cold attitude, Han's mother asks for her bag, and Yoon bends down to retrieve it. At that moment, Amshik starts barking loudly at her, making Han's mother nervous and frightened. Yoon tries to stop him, but deep down, she feels a strange sense of satisfaction and secretly wants him to keep barking. She explains that her dog usually only barks at people who are not welcome, which clearly irritates Han's mother. Yoon maintains her composure and offers a sarcastic apology, hinting that insurance is not something that should be forced on people. Han's mother then expresses her disbelief at the lie and insinuates that Sion has become quite skilled at lying to women. Yoon tries to understand whether her presence has anything to do with insurance, but Han's mother cuts her off and firmly states that the truth about her relationship with Sion is something Yoon must hear from him personally. She then leaves in her car, abandoning Yoon in a state of deeper confusion. Later, we see Han struggling with a serious problem, hiding the money given to him by the mysterious woman, while his mind remains in complete chaos. He starts searching on his phone for the best gift for confessing your feelings, as he plans to give it to Sejin. Suddenly, his friends arrive, turning the mood comedic. One friend with curly hair gives him a bizarre and hilarious piece of advice, telling him that if he wants to steal a girl's heart, he should make her a bouquet of meat. His brother immediately objects, recalling an incident where a girl once got embarrassed and left Shinsu for good because of something similar. Chaos erupts among the brothers until the director suddenly appears, scolds them, announces that exams will begin next week, and orders everyone to prepare seriously. He also points out that the top student has not changed and looks directly at Han. At that moment, Han comes up with an idea for Sejin's gift, clearly intending to let her be first this time, so he can fill her heart with joy and happiness. At night, Sion returns home and finds an envelope at his door. It is not an ordinary letter, but something resembling an inheritance contract. Anxiety immediately overwhelms him, and he realizes it is from Han's mother. Just then, Yoon arrives with her dog. Sion asks why she came and tells her that it is not her responsibility to take care of Bomshik, jokingly asking if she missed him already and how she plans to endure 2 years. But Yoon's mood is firm and serious. She can no longer tolerate more lies. She looks straight at him and tells him that the woman was not an insurance agent and that he lied to her. This time, she asks him to forget about the 2-year agreement entirely. The story then shifts to a painful flashback from Sion's childhood. His father was an alcoholic and extremely violent, beating them with a belt and destroying the furniture at home. Sion always stood like a shield to protect his younger sister. When life became unbearable for her, she decided to run away, but she had a small child named Han. Crying, she placed the child in Sion's arms and confessed that she could not raise him, that staying there would suffocate and kill her, and that she needed to go to Seoul to earn money and someday return. Back in the present, Sion apologizes to Yoon for lying and explains that Han doesn't know the truth, which is why he kept it hidden. He says that from that day on, his sister was dead to him, and that Han must never know his mother abandoned him for money. All he wants is to protect the child from the painful truth he himself had to endure. Yoon, on the other hand, strongly disagrees, telling him that even if she was a bad mother, Han has the right to know that his mother is still alive, and that if she were in his place, she would want to know the truth from her parents. In contrast, Sion believes protecting Han from the cruelty and pain of the world is the only thing that truly matters. At that moment, Han returns from school and spots Bomshik immediately running toward him and happily playing without noticing anything around him. Sion quickly hides the inheritance document, and Yoon grows tense as well. But Han neither sees nor hears what happened. Han cheerfully asks if today is their turn to take care of Bomshik, and Yoon replies yes, handing the dog over to him. As she walks away, she looks at Sion coldly and says, "Until we meet again, take good care of him, and as Han's teacher, remember what I told you." Her meaning is clear. Sion must tell Han the truth about his mother. Yoon leaves, and Sion stands there watching her go in silence. Han and his uncle then go inside the house and start eating while the television plays an emotional news story about a child who was reunited with his family after 31 years through a DNA test. Deeply moved, Sion tells Han that if he ever needed a kidney, he would give him his own, even his eyes if necessary. Instead of laughing, Han replies seriously that it would not stop at a kidney. He would even give his heart because Sion is his family and more important to him than any blood relation. Han's words tear Sion apart. Han then asks why Sion is asking such strange questions today and whether something is wrong, but Sion denies it, tells him to focus on his exam the next day, finish his meal, and go to sleep. Sion hides his tear-filled eyes and retreats to his room. The next day, news reports warn of a possible storm and heavy rain. At school, Baum supervises the exam. Han finishes incredibly quickly, rests his head on the desk, and falls asleep. Yoon notices and worries, asking him why he is sleeping, and he calmly replies that he has finished the exam. Shocked, she points out that only 10 minutes have passed. Sejin is also stunned, while the students whisper in awe that there is a reason Han is always ranked first. Sejin's expression grows unusually serious. Later that evening, as Sion and Han eat together, Han talks about his exam schedule, but Sion's mind drifts to a painful memory of his sister. In the flashback, she sits across from him at a cafe and places the inheritance agreement in front of him. There is no maternal affection in her eyes for her son, only greed. She tells him that if a resort is built on their father's land, it will bring in a lot of money and demands that he sign. When Sion asks if she does not even want to see her son, who waited for her every day, believing she had come back for him, she coldly replies that he himself said she was an unfit mother and that the child does not matter to her. She proposes a harsh deal. Sign the document, and he will never see her face again. Back in the present, the storm intensifies. Sion receives a call informing him that the power has gone out at his grandmother's house due to the rain, so he decides to go pick her up. At that moment, Han receives a message saying the electricity is out across the entire neighborhood, but he reassures Sion that their house still has power thanks to the solar panels. As Sion leaves, he tells Han to invite his friends over as well. Han asks if he can invite Choi and Sejin too, explaining that Sejin has an exam the next day and will not be able to study in the dark. Sion agrees. Soon, the house fills with villagers seeking shelter, creating noise and chaos. When Sion arrives with Dong and his grandmother and sees the scene, he climbs the stairs and shouts for everyone to calm down. He offers them food and a place to sleep, then organizes the situation by assigning tasks to each person. Han tells Sion that he tried calling Yoon, but she did not answer. When Sejin and her brother arrive, Sion asks Choi where Yoon is. Choi replies that he spoke to her earlier, but does not know where she went afterward. Without hesitation, Sion decides to go look for Yoon, and Choi goes with him. Sue is in the kitchen talking on the phone with Shangtai in Seoul when June approaches, asks to talk, and warns her that Shangtai is not a good person and is deceiving her. Sue dismisses him, but June explains he asked Yoon, who asked Choi, and found out Shangtai was never married and is actually single, shocking Sue because he claimed to be divorced. Sion searches for Yoon and finds her digging through trash for a box he once gave her, with no one knowing how it ended up there. A metal billboard sways dangerously in the wind and starts to fall as Yoon looks up. At home, Hong cleans the toilet, complains about missing a football match, argues with Ten over the bathroom, and kicks him out. Sejin notices Han playing instead of studying for an exam, secretly watches him doing laundry, gets discovered after falling on him by accident, and admits she was spying to learn how he finished the exam so fast. Han calmly offers to help, shows her his books and notes, lets her study in his room all night, then leaves, while Sejin lies on his bed feeling shy and flustered. Yoon is later found unconscious and weak. Choi helps her, explains what happened, and takes her to Sion's house. When Sion questions her for going out in bad weather, Yoon insists she had a reason and shows him the box, saying it was his first gift and could have been something precious, like a ring. Sion realizes she went out just for that, warns her the billboard could have killed her, and recalls how he and Choi ran to save her, with Sion injuring his shoulder while stopping the falling billboard, and Choi carrying Yoon away as Sion bleeds and asks if she is safe. In the present, when Yoon hears this talk, she becomes sad. Sion was trying to hide the matter, but she knew in the end. Yoon asks him, "How's your shoulder?" Sion tells her that it's fine, but at that moment she looks at him and says, "You're crying." Sion denies it and says, "I have never cried in my life, not even once." Yoon tells him, "Tears are coming down from your eyes," but he denies it again. She tells him, "Stop crying." He replies, "I don't know how to stop it." She tells him, "Count the numbers," and he starts counting. Then he says, "Nothing happened." After that, she starts tickling him, but nothing happens, so she comes closer and kisses him on the cheek. She sees that Sion has calmed down. She gets ready to leave, but he grabs her and says, "If I really want to calm down, we need to do something else." And he kisses her. He pulls her close to him and says, "Can you stay a little?" He starts talking about Han's mother and says, "I'm scared because I lied to Han and told him that his parents died, burned in a fire, but if he finds out that his mother left him and walked away, I don't know what he will feel inside." Inside the house, we find Han drinking water, and at that time, Sejin enters. He tells her, "Do you want water?" She answers, "I'm cold." He says, "Okay, in my uncle's room there's a heating mat. I'll bring it." He enters the room and sees a private paper on the floor. Then he sees his mother's seal on it and says, "Why is there the seal of a dead person here?" He takes the paper and goes outside and looks at the two of them. Sion sees the paper and understands that Han discovered the truth. Han mentions his mother's name and says, "This is my mother's name. You told me she died, so that means she's alive." And here the episode ends. We meet in episode 9. Goodbye.